everyone, here is another video. It's been a while since I've made a video and I haven't been playing much. I've been too busy with other things, but I've started another project. The idea behind this one is going to be a series of interconnected commercial centres, which roughly resembles sort of the suburban areas, maybe inner suburban areas of a really large city like Tokyo. Although I haven't been able to quite find the sort of Tokyo type housing stock, but roughly designed on that type of city. So not obviously central Tokyo, which is just ridiculously big to try and build, and unrealistic, quite honestly, in this game. But I can build a slice of, a reasonably sized suburban chunk, and just mix it up. I just want to do something different, not the classic city, with the normal centre and what a lot of people do. So as you can see here, I've got one centre, which is where I started, and then another one here, which probably is a bit too close, but this one's going to be slightly bigger, so it'll encroach across here. It'll go past the freeway here, and it'll start to go into the mountain areas here. And then I'll continue to expand this here. I need to find an agricultural mod to make some proper fields. Really, I want to find something that's a bit like that will resemble small growers or rice paddies. I don't want big cornfields here. I want lots of little family lots, family, sized community gardens and things that kind of break up some of the areas between the urban areas. So you can actually, what I would like is you end up with subtle but visible distinctions between each commercial hub, and distinctions between each main urban area. So it actually looks like a patchwork of different evolved townships, not one spread out city. So that's the idea anyway. If I can get that, great. It's a subtle thing, something really that takes quite a bit of time and tinkering about with, I think. Anyway, this is the map. I'll go on to camera view. It's a new one in the workshop. It's quite good. The river is a little bit maybe wide, and the banks of the river are really broken. But I'm probably going to just smooth all this mess out. Put riverbank protection and maybe shrink the river slightly. It's got plenty of flat area, which is good, and it's got two sort of mountain ranges. I'll probably end up building over here, maybe have a port all along here, sort of another commercial centre somewhere on the river, and another one maybe over here. I don't know, it depends how I go. Yeah, this is what I've done so far anyway. Just going to make it up as I go along, like I normally do. So down here I've custom made my low residential housing stock and the high residential housing stock. It's not perfect or anything, but it's really, I'm using a lot of these French houses again because they're probably like the closest thing I can find to small suburban houses that might suit Asian cities. And of course, it's like Tokyo, every now and then you've got rows of apartment blocks nestled in there. like to add more trees, but the dense tree brush doesn't work anymore. It knocks buildings down, so I've got to like plant them manually because this is the thickest density I can get trees to cover. Of course, there's still lots of gaps. Some of these buildings are a bit Latino kind of looking. I still like them. I've thinned out here and started putting some fields. One building type I really like is by this guy Tobesy, and it's this. It gives you 3 separate buildings, so it gives you a house set back from the road. It gives you the impression of denser suburban areas. So I've kind of, although they're not the perfect building I want for this city, they still look good, I think. You know, they need to have different coloured roofs and, you know, be a bit less Germanic in appearance and a bit more Japanesey. But they sort of do the job. And at the moment I've kept pretty much everything quite low lying. I haven't put any skyscrapers in, there's not really any need. It won't look natural. The only high building is the hospital. So I'm reasonably happy with the way that's worked out. This hospital complex is brilliant. I forget who modded this, but it's just great. I love it. It's probably my favourite building now. And I use that as the kind of central starting point for these townships. So I've done the same over here. You can see there's the hospital. And the police station is a similar building. A nice kind of low-lying, lovely detailed building. And this one here, which is like an office complex, another great building. I love those types of buildings. They really make this type of city. And everything else I'm trying to just keep low-lying. So I'm using a lot of low-density housing, which is the American style. It's not obviously really fitting with Asian, but excuse me, this is really about the only types of buildings I can find that have good coverage of their zone tiles, because I don't really want too many gardens. I want this to be a dense, clustered city. So I want to really get away from these types of green gaps, which are just so difficult. I have downloaded this tool, which is the first time I've been using it, that enables you to pick up, how do I do it? There we go. Pick up buildings and shift them around like this. It's okay. It's not quite got it functioning, but it does enable you to make a bit more sort of dense neighbourhood. Anyway, let me build a little bit, so I'll show you what I'm doing. So this is where I've been working for the time being, just the last hour or two. So what I'm doing is along the main roads, and I'm deliberately not using wider roads because I want it to give the appearance of a bigger city. The wider the road, the smaller it looks because of the scale. So I'm using these 2x2 roads as the main trunks, and if the traffic gets too bad I'm just adding metros and bus lanes. And then along these main drags I'm putting the sort of more dense buildings, the bigger buildings, and then I'm filling in behind with all of these sort of small French houses. A few other different houses dotted in there too. There's some European ones, and there's a few, might be the odd few thin Japanese style houses as well. I'm still, as usual, on the hunt for suitable buildings, and it's a struggle. I mean, there's so many buildings in the workshop, and yet not quite enough for what I